Alright lads and lasses, I'm Xcentric, and today I am showing my perspective of the Failrace Versus The Community, where we raced A-Class BMWs with my ludicrous BMW i8 with 548 horsepower powered by the BMW 4.5 litre V8. The car weighed as well 1,359 kilos, and it was an off-road race because, well, really, I sort of focused more on the rallying aspect with my i8. First race, we headed to Tierra Prospera. I was starting right near the back, sort of learning where the power band was in my BMW with the gearing as well. I had to leave in the standard gearbox, and let me tell you, the standard gearbox is not great. Off the line and just through the first corner, I gained so many positions there. I think I was starting in like 10th, and I managed to get all the way up halfway through the grid from just turn 1 into the left-hander there, the square left. I did manage to get Neo and Longbow, Neo through the corner, then Longbow out the acceleration zone. Was not quite able to get past Speed Beast with the mad 2002 turbo there into the complex section. I did get a huge knock there into the wall, which did drop me back 3 places actually, and then I think Longbow got tangled up with them too. Yeah, there was a lot of bumping and shoving in this one, I will admit. However, the straight line speed of my i8 came into fruition here, managing to get all of those lost positions back from just that straight. Now I have to try and find a way past El Passes, I think that's the older M5, and Speed Beast's 2002 Turbo. Not quite able to do it, going 3 wide into the final corner. I'm early on the brakes again. I just get punted into the wall ever so slightly, and I'm now back into a 5th place, almost a 6th place. To be honest, get a small knock. I think Neo was understeering anyway, so I was briefly back into 6th place, but El Pas had a pretty bad run through that corner, so I was able to be on the inside. Got a nice little helping nudge from Spiny there, which did fire me forward, so thank you very much for that. Put me into a 5th place, and I was having to chase down hard, try and get all those lost positions. Longbow had a little bit of a problem there, so I had to slam on the brakes, didn't want to go into the back of them to try and get that position. So again, I'm just biding my time. Had a little bit of a braking issue there into a complex left-hander. However, it was nothing really. Doc BMW was almost there, but not quite. Longbow just had a huge understeer moment. I didn't know if that was assisted or not. I didn't actually pay attention. So that gave me a really easy overtake there, just with the power. Neo was just not able to defend. I had the inside line, had an incredible run. The thing about my i8, right, even though it was not on ideal tyres for tarmac whatsoever, it still turned in, and it still actually had a fair decent levels of grip. It was nowhere near the grippiest car there. Alex's M1, that was on rally tyres, and Speed Beast's 2002, which I think was on Vintage Race or something like that, but I actually can't remember what their tyres were on. Was definitely grippier than me through the corners, but I had good enough handling, but so much straight line speed and so much acceleration that it really didn't matter. Had a small knock, I was not going to risk that whatsoever, trying to get out the inside of Speed Beast through this section here, so I just decided back off, just bide my time again. I thought that I would be able to get back into 2nd place, especially through this little section here, once I managed to get onto the straight. Speed Beast runs very wide, has to catch an oversteer, does catch it, and I'm just able to use all of my brutal straight line speed to just get past Speed Beast. Like, it's, I wouldn't say Speed Beast's car was very slow, but my i8 made a lot of things in the straight look slow. It was just absolutely ludicrous. I was not expecting anywhere near this performance in a straight line for only 500 odd horsepower. Yeah, so I then, onto the final lap, had to try and find a way past that M1. Of course, like I said, I knew that M1 had more handling. Alex runs very wide there, but there's just nowhere for me to go. I'm not going to be able to get the move on the outside there. Absolutely no way in hell. So I just, again, I'm just waiting for an opportunity. Alex sort of goes to the inside, just leaves a nice gap for me on the outside. I'm able to just use the power. It's not a tricky enough corner to cause my i8 problems, and I'm able to just go around the outside with absolutely no qualms and get myself into the lead. But Alex was still closing actually fairly quickly on my car through this section here. He had a look up the inside, but sort of drew it alongside. However, it just didn't matter. This straight, this small straight was more than enough for me to have a good gap against that M1, and I do run a little bit wide through here, but that's to avoid the little Tierra wheel, as I like to call it. And yeah, that would just be me going in the first place. Don't make a mistake here. I run to the wall a little bit, pushing it very hard. Alex does get a little bit of a better final corner, but I would take the win. That M1 would take second. Speed Beast does hold on to a third place with that 2002 Turbo. When it comes to fastest laps, I would claim it, however, not by a huge margin, although I didn't get a clean lap. I do think a 106, maybe even a 105 was possible there. And next race we head to the Mangrove Scramble, a track that would very much suit my i8. A lot of straight line speed here is necessary, and well, my i8 definitely had that offline. I'm pretty sure I gained like 1 or 2 positions there. Heading up into turn 2, this really tricky braking zone, I'm having to use the clutch and the handbrake at the same time to make sure I get through that corner. Still using full advantage of ghost mode, get myself into second. I just, it was a little bit of unfortunate timing of the ghost event, of unghosting, sorry. But against Lombo, however, I did manage to get myself into the lead, 152 miles an hour, having to absolutely slam onto the anchors. There was a huge battle going on back there between Neo, Doc and Lombo. I think Lombo was the big loser out of all of that, and through this little chicane section, you can see that BMW M3 with the double wing was closing on me actually fairly quickly, but just didn't have any place to go. Get a small tap from behind. I'm not too sure whether that was a system or not. However, you know, I was on the apex and they just was not able to overtake me. I just used my superior acceleration, able to pull away. And when those three battled, Lombo, Neo and Doc, that was all she wrote. My BMW absolutely flew around this track, 160 miles an hour into turn 1. Yeah, my i8 was just unstoppable. Once I managed to get in the clean air, everything was just gone. I absolutely loved this car. It really was just ludicrously good. And, well, yeah, like I said, once I managed to get myself into the lead, that gap just forever increased. Nothing really stood a chance. Longboat, unfortunately, would leave halfway through this race, but yeah. The second of the first place would go to me. Proto would get second and Alex would get third, but the best lap times, I was 2 seconds clear of everyone else around that track. Yeah, you just could not compete with that i8. Third race, we headed to the Plaza Circuit, a track that I thought my BMW would struggle a little bit more at, considering it's not got a lot of handling, but, you know, the acceleration does prove very handy around this track. Yeah, so I was starting near the back out to see if I was able to make as many positions as possible through the ghost mode. This left-hander here causing many problems for many cars, and I'd find myself 5 positions up ahead into a 4th place there. Almost lost a few positions, however, it didn't matter. Come out of ghost mode now, having to see if we can get past Proto and Neo and El Pas. All 3 of them run wide, and that's just easy pickings for me, getting 2 positions yet again. I'm not going to be able to get Neo here, however I do get assistance from behind, which did shove Neo into the wall, so I do apologise for that one, of the assisted knock. However, I've decided to give them the inside line. Again, just a small tap for me, a small tap on me puts me into the wall. However, I'm able just to use all my superior straight line acceleration, get my fire my BMW back into the lead, and this was where the problem Neo actually had. Because my car was a lot worse through the corners than them, I basically went on the brakes when I needed to, and there's just nowhere for them to go. You know, they basically went into the rear of my car, but it just wasn't going to matter. I was just able to be on my line, compromise them where they're stronger, and they're not able to compromise me, which is one of the advantages you have with the power car, is if you can get ahead, you can just compromise people are better handling so much easier, and they can compromise you. Because, you know, well, yeah, they're going to be committed to the corner, so am I, but I'm able to be a massive roadblock to them, and, you know, they're going to have to work their way around me, or just do a punt to pass. If they don't get past me, then I'm just able to sail away. Again, there was the i8 around this track was not easy to drive. It really wasn't. There was a fair bit of hand braking to get it around the corners and whatnot, but when I do manage to get into the groove of things, yeah, the i8 was very quick here. It was absolutely brilliant. I wouldn't say it was the fastest overall. I do think Alex's M1 would definitely be quicker around here than my i8. However, you know, it would be 3 out of 5 victories for me. Alex would then get himself into second place as another second place for that M1. It actually got really close for third place between Duck and Neo. Well, sorry, between El Paso and Neo. However, Neo would just steal it with the other i8. Yeah, fastest laps as well was very close. For our fourth race, we headed to the Horizon Baja Scramble. The game started me at the front, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do it, so I dropped myself right the way to the back of the field. It was practically bang on 5 seconds. Speed Beast 2002, well, I repassed it in one corner. Yeah, that's it really did not like the off-roading, funnily enough, not being on the suitable tyres, so it was pretty much just left up to me to charge, to see if I was able to charge my way back to the front of the field. I did use the handbrake a little bit too much around that corner, basically did spin out the BMW. However, I did manage to recover it quickly, so I was basically just sent back on the way, seeing if I'm able to do any form of position gaining on lap 1 and see if I can make up a lot of time, you know, because I'm sort of waiting behind 5 seconds. As you can already see, I am gaining up to 6th place. We did lose a few people for this one. I think we lost 2 people, unfortunately, couldn't quite get connected. So I'm having to try and get up I think that's the M8, I've actually forgotten my BMW, so I do slide into the front of it. They miss their braking point massively, crash into the wall hard, so it actually puts me back onto the inside. The smallest of tags punched them wide a little bit again. However, yeah, I do apologise, that one wasn't the greatest move from me, but it did put me back on the inside line, and that was me into a 6th place. So we're starting onto lap 2 now. I managed to gain a few positions, and now having to try and chase down Proto and Alex's M1 there. I had a huge amount of airtime through there, catching up massively in the air through this hairpin, trying to do it a little bit better this time. Proto actually had a fantastic line, went through the middle of me and Alex, however was stuck on the inside from that banked corner. Really the outside is kind of where you want to be, because it's just flat out down there, so I am able to just get back past Proto. Having to go around the outside of Neo there to get myself into the podium. They do fire it up the inside again, just a small line. El Paso unfortunately clips the side of the bridge, which knocks their car up massively and span out, which was a absolute huge shame. However, I do manage to get myself into the lead, and then I just get punted wide there. I'm still stuck on the outside. We're pretty much going 3 wide through this massive hairpin. Proto will be on the very inside. Again, small knocks here and there. However, it didn't matter. I was a little bit concerned I wouldn't quite out-accelerate their M3, but I did. And I managed to get myself into the lead. I did get it very wrong here, so I was very conscious about Proto possibly having a move up the inside that I have to see if I was able to get the position back past. However, on my car, thankfully, was a little bit ahead enough, and yeah, I managed to get myself into a little bit of clean air, and this gap just started to increase as the time went on. It wasn't by absolute miles the gap will increase. I will admit I did make a fair few mistakes here and there. However, yeah, once I managed to get myself into the lead, that gap increased big time. So that would be 4 races out of 5 for my BMW i8. For when Speed Beast kind of did give up there, you can see them at the end, huge jump as well. So again, like I said, 4 races out of 5 went to the way of my BMW. Second place I think actually went to Proto. Yep, third place went to Neo Alex in 4th place, holding on very well, but yeah, that was again about 2 seconds quicker. Now the final race, Estadio, a track that again would suit my car's straight line speed massively. So I do the thing of I wait behind. I waited 4 seconds this time, and I would be on the mark. So I knew because of 4 laps I had relatively short time. You know, the race was pretty much about 4 minutes, 4 and a bit minutes. So I did have to try and get through the field quickly, which did put a fair bit of pressure on me, to be honest, knowing that this race was actually quite short, and considering I had a 4-second wait at the start of the race, knew I had to push the BMW i8 hard if I was going to be able to get 5 out of 5 wins for this one. Again, I'm closing up big time, but I just run into the back of that M8. I was being very cautious through the chicane, being very, very slow. People, whatnot, ran wide, and that was just 3 easy overtakes for me on the inside with just vastly superior acceleration as well. Yeah, I didn't really want to run too aggressive, don't want to go into the back of people and whatnot through this little complex section here. El Pas and Neo are battling hard. I had nowhere to go, so I decided to punt Neo a little bit forward. They just understeer wide. I didn't touch them there. That just leaves a nice gap for me to fire up the inside, and just all of that straight line speed is just absolutely incredible. 157 miles an hour there, slamming onto the brakes into turn 1. So I had to try and find a way past Speed Beast, and Speed Beast's 2002 was actually very good here, because it wasn't actually all that terrible down the straights. Yeah, sure, it had race air and whatnot, so it would reduce that top speed. It would absolutely kill the top speed. Once we started to get upwards of like 148, I would absolutely stop pulling on the 2002, sorry, massively. Again, I'm being a little bit more aggressive through the chicane this time, much better run. Again, we get that position on Speed Beast, but I had to go defensive because I knew that they would be able to get up the inside, and there's not much I can do there. Speed Beast's car's just so much better through the corners. Unfortunately though for them, they do run wide, make a big mistake, just miss their braking point, and that would just allow me to get that position. Spiny, I don't even think bothered fighting me, just didn't bother trying to defend that position. They knew that my BMW would just sail past them, so they just hung it wide, just took their normal racing line to sort of hang close and potentially gain any sort of scraps in case, you know, there was a huge battle, we push each other off, or there was a missed checkpoint. And as you saw, within one corner, because Doc and Alex were battling each other very hard, I just got myself into this fight. There was nowhere for me to go here. And I decided to back off, see if I could get a little bit of an uncompromised run through the chicane and pit my BMW where it needed to be to get a position. I do go across the curbing there, which did throw my IA a little bit off, so I had to try and catch that. And again, I sort of went on the grass a little bit, see if I can take a nice wide line, sort of tuck it in, but I hit a bump on the outside I've never hit before, and that did mess me up big time. But those two kept fighting, and I just had a clean run, so I was just able to fire my i8, just use all of its straight line speed, managed to get past Dot with no issues. I couldn't quite sneak through the middle. I do end up just bumping Alex into the back. Now I do get squished into the wall very hard here. Wasn't overly pleased with that one, I will admit. So now I know time was short, massively short. I really had to push for it. Dot would be defending on the inside. I then had basically across the grass trying to get the position, and I was really not appreciative of that as well. Sort of turning left into me when I was very much out of room. So my patience was starting to run very thin at this point, I will admit. Because a lot of this adventure just involved me being shoved wide and whatnot. This move here on me was a little bit, wasn't great. However, this move here I'm not proud of. I'm really not proud of that. That was absolutely terrible of me. Doc dove into the side of my car as well, you know, get a little bit of payback. However, once we got down the straight, yep, I would just get past them, no problems. Yeah, I was not happy with what I did to get that second place there. It was terrible of me. So I couldn't unfortunately get 5 out of 5 wins, but I was stuck in heavy traffic. Fastest lap will go to Alex. However, that i8, that time is not, absolutely nowhere near what that car could do, not representative whatsoever. However, I'm going to call it there for video. I do hope you enjoyed. All feedback is appreciated. Again, a big thank you to Alex for inviting me to this week one. It was actually quite enjoyable. Yeah. All feedback was appreciated. There'll be links in the descriptions. I will obviously link Failrace's channel in the description as well. However, that's it from me. Take care, and ciao for now.